You remember when Trump said this about the peace deal, the end of the war that he negotiated, and then Israel kept bombing?
Israel said that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is?
So they asked him, do you think Iran violated the peace agreement? Do you think they're committed to peace? He says, yes, I do. But Israel violated that peace agreement too.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
And so why does he say that? Because he negotiated the peace deal. He negotiated the end of the 12-day war. And then Benjamin Netanyahu tells Trump, F off. Explosions ring out in Tehran despite Trump's order to Israel to stop doing the strikes. Bibi says, F you, I'm going to do it anyway.
And can you do my dry cleaning too?
And can you do my dry...
Well, you know how I took what Trump said? Where he goes, yeah, Iran, and he goes, and Israel too. He means just Israel, but he has to say Iran, but he's so angry. Like, he's mad at Israel more than Iran. That's very clear.
That's very clear.
He has to say Iran's bad too, but is that unprecedented? The President of the United States swearing not on a Nixon tape, but in front of the helicopter like that?
So basically Trump saying, okay, we'll still do your laundry, but you can forget about the dry cleaning. So here's what happened. Explosions rang out in Tehran on June 24th, despite U.S. President Trump saying Israel has called off airstrikes at his command to preserve an hours-old ceasefire. Two witnesses reached by telephone in the Iranian capital said they heard two loud explosions. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office acknowledged that Israel struck a radar site near Tehran in what is said to was retaliation for Iranian missiles fired 3.5 hours after the ceasefire was due to begin. It said Israel decided to refrain from further attacks following a call between Netanyahu and Trump, but did not explicitly say whether the strike on the radar site took place before or after they spoke. Trump en route. Sounds like after.
Yeah.
Sounds like after.
Let's face it.
Sounds like Trump told Benjamin, cut it out, and Benjamin said, go pound sand, I'm going to still bomb.
He probably said, of course, and then did it. That's why Trump's mad.
Yes, Trump, en route to NATO summit in the Netherlands, said Israel had called off its attack after he rebuked Israel with an obscenity in an extraordinary outburst at an ally whose military campaign he joined 2 days earlier. So,
is it extraordinary or overdue? And also,
I think it's overdue.
They know it's about at Israel more than Iran, even though it was both of them supposedly. They picked up it was at Israel.
So all planes will turn around and head home while doing friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect, Mr. Trump said in a post on Truth Social. That followed a post in which he said, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. So, but Israel hates being told what to do while it's telling everybody else what to do. We are past the F and the A portion. We are now on to the F and find out portion.
Israel will not be told what to do, and they will not pay for it themselves. You will pay for that.
Before departing the White House, Mr. Trump told reporters he was unhappy with both sides for violating the ceasefire, but particularly unhappy with Israel, which he had said unloaded shortly after agreeing to the deal. So here, Craig Murray wrote this about the phantom ceasefire. The phantom ceasefire is simply Trump's off-ramp. He announces a ceasefire and bows out, having been advised that regime change would only be achieved with extreme military commitment. It's you can't get a regime change in Iran unless you send troops in, and Trump does not want to send troops in. You can never trust the Israelis or indeed the Americans with either a ceasefire or a negotiation. Reuters reported that a senior Iranian official had confirmed that the ceasefire had been agreed to. Israel then repeated precisely what I had seen in Beirut. Massive carpet bombing of the city just before a 3:30 a.m. deadline for the Israeli-Iran ceasefire. That picture in Beirut, literally minutes before the ceasefire came into effect. That's what this picture is. Right before in Beirut. Israel then proceeded to violate the ceasefire anyway, and has done so virtually every single day in the past months of ceasefire, often several times a day, racking up over 1,000 violations. So there's supposed to be a ceasefire with Beirut, and they're bombing the hell out of them. So here we keep going. The Iranians very sensibly responded to last night's carpet bombing with a missile. Israel has claimed a violation for the ceasefire. As ever, the aggressor is the victim. So they're the ones carpet bombing Tehran, and then Iran sends a missile, and they go, look, they're breaking the ceasefire. I believe this. Craig says he believes this may be for the best, although it does benefit Netanyahu, who, for domestic reasons, is desperate to avoid peace. The Israelis would never have observed a ceasefire and would have used it to replenish their exhausted missile defense system with help from the USA and UK and other genocidal participants. The Iranian attack on the U.S. airbase in Qatar was purely performative. They used old expendable low-level missiles certain to be shot down and warned that they were coming. It was part of the structure of Trump's off-ramp. So the question now is whether Netanyahu can drag Trump back into this war. I'm hopeful he will not. Trump will be able to say that he has, with his strikes on Iran, redeemed the hundreds of millions of Zionist dollars that got him elected. I guess we will discover the next week or two whether that money really is all that was motivating him, or whether Musk was right about Trump's appearance in the Epstein files. Without the United States, Netanyahu has opened a war that will not remain popular very long. Keeping Israel's settler colonialists, who are hilariously cowardly when faced with anybody who can actually fight back, locked in as human shields is going to have interesting social consequences for the terrorist entity. Meanwhile, the shooting of Palestinians in the Gaza food queues and the dispossession and killing in the West Bank continues apace. So that was that's what's. So we'll see what happens. I say Benjamin Netanyahu is going to try again to get Trump dragged into this war. Because if he has peace, he's going to get thrown in jail. That's bad. He's going to get thrown out of power, and he's probably going to get prosecuted. So that's why peace is bad for Benjamin Netanyahu, and that's why he told Trump, F you, and he bombed the shit out of Tehran.
May I suggest President Trump, now that the regime change plan, which was never going to work, has failed, we try a much more workable and positive plan, which would be regime change in Israel. It would be so easy. Now's the time. They all hate him.
Yeah.
You know, accidents happen to our enemies all the time. Now, I'm not going to be like Tony Clausen and suggest all the accidents like a borderline criminal. But, I mean, you know Tony Clausen. What would he do? What would Tony Clausen do in this situation with Bibi? Assuming he wasn't a lackey of Bibi. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Regime change in Israel. I think the Israelis want it too, if I read the mayor of Haifa correctly.
The mayor of Haifa sounds like he wants to get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu, and the people do. 80% of them want him held accountable.
They would greet us as liberators.
They would greet us as
Trump.
liberators if we did a regime change in Israel. That's what we're saying here at the show.
Oh, make Israel great again.
Make Israel great again. Overthrow their regime. Come see us live on tour in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, Concord, New Hampshire, Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, Edmonton, Alberta, Calgary, Vancouver. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.